Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Scrapping for Less and their Flavor of the Month card kit for September 2020, and this one's theme is orchards and patches. So it's got a wonderful fall theme. So as always, we are going to start with the reveal. Now remember, we're first going to show the Double Dip collection, and then we'll show the Banana Split. They are the two subscriptions that you can subscribe to when it comes to the Flavor of the Month card kit. As always, the ingredients and the sketches will be linked down below in the video description. So let's first look at the cardstock. The cardstock is 100 pounds, and the colors will be Jelly Bean Green, Sour Apple, Speckled Orange, Night Shift Blue, Lemon Drop, and Wild Cherry, and 2 sheets of accent opaque 100-pound white cardstock. Now the speckled orange is 65 pounds, so just be aware of that. For our first collection, it is called Sweet Sunflower Patch, and I've just gone through the cardstock by Scrapping for Less called Sweet Sunflower Patch. Of course, we have the beautiful stamp set called Sweet Fall, some white organza, and some enamel dots. For collection 2, this is called Apple Orchard Pickin', as is the name of the paper collection. The stamp set, which is also by Scrapping for Less, is called Apple Gnome. And of course, as always, we get some enamel dots and this time some twine by Casper. For our third collection, I love that little gnome. For our third little collection, it is called Floral Patches. Again, as is the paper called by Scrapping for Less, and the stamp set by Scrapping for Less is called Patches Stamp. Going to get some buttons by Buttons Galore, some enamel dots by Gina Marie Designs, and some satin ribbon by Desiree. For our fourth collection, part of the Double Dip ingredients, it is called Pumpkin Patches and Harvest Wishes. Again, paper, same name, by Scrapping for Less. And the stamp set is called Hey There Pumpkin by Scrapping for Less. You're also going to get some ephemera when it comes to this and some enamel dots. Now remember, this is for the Double Dip, so everything that I've shown so far, that is what you will get if you subscribe or choose to purchase the Double Dip ingredients. If you should choose to already be subscribed or purchase the Banana Split, you do get an extra packet of goodies. You get 2 fall icon dies by Scrapping for Less. You're going to have a Harvest Time stencil by them also, a 5-inch adorable plastic ruler that is great for anything, very flexible, very useful, and some sequins. This is everything here for the Banana Split. Now let's get to our cards. So here's a heads up. I'm just saying. For some reason, Des totally forgot to film one of the cards. I will advise which card that is. Not sure why I did not turn the camera on, but I was roll, obviously. So sorry. Don't be mean. I'm just saying. So, for this card, for collection 1, I'm going to use sketch number 2. So I've cut my panels. I've cut my main panel to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then from the pattern paper as well, I cut 3 other panels that will be raised up off of that one. And I am using my double-sided foam tape by scrapbook.com. It is the 1-inch wide. I've chosen my sentiment, and I'm going to lay that right across the 3 panels. I will be adding some of the enamel dots just for a little bit of accent to the center panel, as the 2 outer ones have already a beautiful design. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive and put this on my standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is a side folding card at this point because I am making it landscape. I'm going to take the white organza ribbon and I'm going to make a bow. Now, me making a bow is always comical. This one kind of went pretty well. I don't do well with bows. I'm getting better and I keep practicing. Yes. I'm going to use one of my glue dots just to make sure that bow is secured down onto the bottom right-hand corner. And that is our first card. For our second card, I am going to use sketch number 4, and this is from the collection number 2. So I've cut all of my pieces. So this one was kind of cool looking. Now this card base was 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. I wanted to keep it the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I cut my panel to be that of the adorable apples, and I cut my corners to fit that same size. I'm going to use the scrapbook.com double-sided foam tape just to cut some pieces down so that these will be propped up from this piece, and only the 2 corners. So the apples still get to shine from the center or around the outer perimeter. I used a oval set of nested dies from my stash and just cut 3 circles, and I turned them on each other. So they're kind of the same size except for the center that is a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to use my double-sided foam tape just in the center so that that part will be propped up as well, because the 2 ends are going to be on those corners. So they will already be propped in that area. I chose one of the sentiment rectangles from the paper pack. I thought it was really cute, and this way it could be any type of note that we want to make it, whether it's for a birthday, any other type of celebration, or just simply to say, hey, how you doing? I like to send those. We're missing out on snail mail. Everything is so technological. I am not techie. I say this as I'm making a video. But remember, I forgot to film one of my cards. So, how techie am I? Okay, we'll move on. So, we created a double bow out of the twine, glued that down, and of course, as I put that on my standard A2 size card base, it fell off. We just pushed it back into the glue. I've cut 2 panels here from collection 3, and I'm using sketch number 1. The first panel was cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and the second panel, the blue, was cut to be 4 by 5 1/4. I cut a strip from the green cardstock, and that is approximately 1 inch wide, and I'm just trimming it down on each of the edges. You can see I've already colored in my stamped image, and what I used to color in that image were my Prismacolor pencils. I did not use the colorless blender. I just let the colors be the way that they were, and I do like that effect. That paper that I used to color on is my favorite, Strathmore Mixed Media, and it's toned tan. I've added some buttons just for some interest and even more dimension. It always doesn't have to be a sequin or an enamel dot. We can add any embellishments that we want to give dimension to our cards. I'm going to use my liquid adhesive again to prop that onto my standard A2 size card base, and that one is a top folding. So the collection you're not seeing that I put together was collection number 4, and I used sketch number 3. You will see that at the end of the video where I show a picture. So we're going to jump right into the banana split level. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what came over me to not film that. Only me. So I pulled out the stencil. I'm going to grab some of my Post-it tape, grabbed a few of my Gina K inks, and now I'm going to have fun. I'm going to use my finger daubers from scrapbook.com, and I'm just going to fill in the pumpkin. I want to start from the bottom. I want it to be shaded as it goes up to the top. So the top is going to be where my highlight is. I started with an orange, and I'm going to come in with a very light hand with some brown at the bottom. I covered up the stem of the pumpkin just to make sure that I didn't cover that up with any of the oranges or the browns that I used. Here I'm going to come in with a green and make sure I have a little bit more at the bottom, and then I'm going to come in just at the bottom with a darker shade. Again, just taking that stencil and adding dimension to it, but letting it be a stencil. Does that make all sense? Meaning that's how that'll look. It just has still the stencil feel from the image. I used both of the dies that come in your banana split level, and I just cut them using the colored cardstock that came with the kit, because these are great and wonderful autumn colors. I just cut them out. That is great because they do have texture on them, so as you're cutting them out, they will be embossed as well, slightly. And I did use, yes, my vintage photo, of course that has to come in. And I did go around those edges. So I'm going to place these leaves up around the pumpkin. I really did like that way that was set up around it, so I did grab one of my pieces of press and seal. Remember, press and seal and I really don't get along. It is the operator. It is not the product. For some reason, I tear my cardstock. This time I didn't. I find if I save it, remove some of the tacky, however way, whether that's on my jeans or my shirt or whatever, I work with it a lot better. It's just a little tip that works for me. I see so many have great results with it. Me, not so much. But I do enjoy using it. So I'm going to take that panel and I'm going to place it down onto a green piece of cardstock that I've cut from the solid cardstock that is within the kit. The green was cut to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm now setting that green and white down onto a brown card base, which is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and the white panel was cut 4 by 5 1/4. So I went down from the standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I went down 1/8 of an inch for each side, or for each panel. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So those were the 4 cards that I had to show you. I am so sorry about this, but here are the cards in regular speed that we have made. As always, the link to the ingredients and the sketch sheet will be down below, along with a link to their gallery, their blog, their shop. There's so much more there, but please make sure you do go to their gallery. Make sure you go to my blog so that you can follow along with the hop and see all of the wonderful other creators to see their creations from the September Flavor of the Month card kit from Scrapping for Less. Here's the card that I did not show. Now, keep in mind, I did not show the coloring either, but I did use, again, my Prismacolor colored pencils for that image, and then I used some of the ephemera that came with that. It is a slimline card. It is 3 1/2 by 8 1/2 by 8 1/2 card base. So again, I do apologize for not showing that last card. I do not know what came over me. But please, if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe, be part of my group. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below. But always remember what's most important for me. Stay safe and always be creative. Till next time, guys. Take care.